should work together.
Yeah. Going to call the council meeting in order. Please stand for the pledge of flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all our military personnel serving with us. Thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Welch.
Notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law have been satisfied concerning this meeting. The Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger published a notice on January 10, 2025. Was posted on the municipal bulletin board and should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilman Bauer.
Here.
Councilwoman De Jesus.
Here.
Councilman Ficarra.
Here.
Councilwoman Meehan. Councilman Patel. Councilman Small.
Here.
Vice President McAuliffe.
Here.
And President Spiller.
Here.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from March 4th, 2025?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We begin with second reading ordinances this evening. We're going to take letters A and B by consent. They're both traffic and parking within the revised ordinances. Letter A is to designate handicap parking on Rawway Avenue and Holmes Park Avenue. Letter B is an amendment with regards to unhitched trailers, 8 tons or above on streets, overnight parking. That said, can I get a motion that these two ordinances be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letters A and B only. Hearing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter C is ordinance approving a revised license agreement at the Woodbridge Arts Alliance and approving a subtenant at the Avenel Art Center. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter C only.
Good evening to the council and to the administration. On C, who actually owns that license? And Caroline's Tavern, who is that? What individuals?
Caroline's is going to be the tenant that is going into what you would know as the former Curtains. And when you say license, are you referring to the liquor license?
Well, isn't Curtains under the purview of Caroline Ehrlich and the administration at one point in time? Or
You know,
other
the
members of
Arts
the
Alliance, Mr. Simon.
It's a concessionaire's license.
Oh, I'm sorry, concessionaire's license.
It's not a liquor license.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear that.
Concessionaire's license.
Okay. And is there any charge for that? And what's the background check on those licenses?
That's all handled by the state agency.
It's all handled by the state ABC.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maris.
Any other questions or comments on letter C? Hearing no other comments, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter D is an ordinance authorizing direct title and possession of certain property known as Consolidated Rail Corporation be conveyed. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter D only. Hearing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter E, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of portion of property known as 500 Green Street. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and a public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter E only.
Again, Tom Maris, on letter E, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of a portion of certain real properties. What is that going to cost the township, and how does it benefit us?
So this is going to be a house that builds up on Lyman. We need to do some work in relation to the creek that's there.
Yeah, it's the old Gerber property. It's the back section of the property. It backs up to a home on Lyman that we need to gain access to reinforce the creek banks.
And the cost of acquiring that property?
The cost.
There's no cost, it's a temporary easement, and then we'll return it back to the owner.
So we're going to improve it at our expense, well, and then give it back to them, is that correct?
It's just a process. We'll retain an easement on the property because it is a creek. It already has an easement. We just need to access it.
Thank you for the explanation.
Thank you, Mr. Maris.
Any other questions or comments on letter D? Letter E, I'm sorry, letter E.
John Vitarik, Woodbridge. His question is, this can be used for the individuals, for a private company. Are we doing this to help them or to help us?
I believe you had asked, Mr. Vitarik, over here. Everything goes through the council president, sir. I believe you had asked who's it
I'm
benefits the
saying
township.
benefit the town or to benefit the corporation, the landlord, the people who own the property?
I believe it was-
I didn't-
Mr. Vitarik was asking, does it benefit the township and does it benefit the property owner?
The benefit it's not just one property owner, it's multiple properties on Lyman Avenue. The backs of their houses flood because of the creek. Yeah, so it'll prevent flooding in their areas. And it's a maintenance for us. It's one of our creeks. We do yearly maintenance on all of our creeks.
Talk about preventing the floods, there was years ago back, they want to build apartment houses there. How come always done?
I'm sorry, Mr. Vitarik, we're not talking about
How come
apartment
always
houses.
done
We're
there?
talking about 500 Green Street.
I understand 500.
So you asked a question. What is your next question
My
regarding
question is,
this
all of a
ordinance?
sudden, we got flood problems there. Why?
I don't know why.
Whole building?
I was asking if there are flood problems there.
Well, that's the whole purpose
why we're-
of us doing this work.
But there was no flood problems before, was it?
It grown worse. It has grown worse.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments on letter E? Letter E only. There are no other comments. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And the last second reading we have this evening is letter F, which is authorizing the acquisition of property known as 1450 St. George Avenue in Avenel. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Public hearing is now open on letter F only.
Again, Tom Maris, Forge, New Jersey. On letter F, an ordinance of the township in the county of Middlesex authorizing the acquisition of abandoned property. Who owned that property and what's it going to cost the township? Normally you stay away from eminent domain, but apparently this one is worthy of doing that. Why and how will that benefit the town?
So you're correct. It says eminent domain. It's synonymous with condemnation. It's going to be the same process. This property has been on the abandoned property list for years. Housing has gone out there numerous times and issued. Mr. Simuluk, if you want to step in any time, but it's time that this property gets redeveloped. It's dilapidated. It's an eyesore. The third floor department housing gets complaints on this property over and over again.
The owner has
Mr.
been
Simuluk.
summoned many times for violations without any answering. Sometimes he shows up in court and he hasn't done anything to fix the property. The property has become a safety hazard to the residents.
And what will the town do with that property once they acquire it?
That'll go.
There are no plans at this time, Council President.
So in other words, it's back taxes, it's neglected, and we're just going to take it over and at some future time, perhaps do something with it. Am I correct?
He was asking about regarding the tax. Mr. Master was asking regarding the back taxes, but the goal is to do something with this property.
We have no ambition to do anything with the property right now, except to take possession of it and probably raise it so that it's safe for the public.
Yeah.
Again, thank you. It's just good to know what we're getting and what we're going to do with it once we get it. Thank you.
Thank you for asking, Mr. Maris.
Any other questions or comments on letter F? There are no other comments. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Going with the ordinances listed as first readings, letters G, H, and I. Can I get a motion that these ordinances be passed on first reading, published in the Home News Tribune on Friday, March 21st, 2025, with notice of public hearing to be held on Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 at 6 p.m.?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Mr. President, you have 20 resolutions before you. If I can get them approved by consent, 1 through 20.
Mr. Mitch, I'd like to abstain from number 20, please.
Do I have a motion to approve them?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second. Sorry.
No, that's okay. You're good, you're good. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Mitch. Before we go into the public portion of the meeting, I'd like to read a prepared statement. Following the incident that occurred this morning at Woodbridge High School, the mayor's office, the Woodbridge Police Department advised that the extensive security measures that have been implemented by the Woodbridge School District Administration and the Board of Education over the past several years efficiently identified and prevented a potential security issue. The school district administration followed security procedures and worked in cooperation with internal security personnel and the Woodbridge Police Department to investigate, identify, and detain the student. The mayor's office, the council, and the Woodbridge Police Department will continue to support the school district and the safety and security of students and staff to continue to implement even more advanced security protocols. The investigation remains ongoing by the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, the Woodbridge Police Department, and the school district administration and school security personnel. Thank you. We will now move to the public portion of the meeting. When approaching the microphone, please state your name, what section of the township or state that you live in. You have a one-time opportunity to speak up to 5 minutes. Please keep all posters, banners, signs out of the main egress way. There will not be a line. Everybody will be heard. You can have a seat. When the person is done, Mr. Mitch will ask, is there anybody that would like to speak? At that point, that person should be getting up. As of last meeting, there seems to be some people that wanted to sit down and look to each other and say, who's going to get up now? That is not how it works. If somebody wants to speak, you get up to the microphone, you speak. Once the last person or the person is stopped, that's when the public portion is over. You do not need to touch the microphone. The microphone is just fine. There's a 5-minute time period. Thank you, Mr. Mitch.
Mrs. Mayor?
Jessica Mayer, Vivinetto, Avenel. On March 14th, last Friday, the Idaho Bankruptcy Court approved the sale of Sequest Woodbridge, Utah, and California to Jeff Cox, who already had financial ties to Sequest. I'm curious if any of you knew about this. I don't know if you want to answer or not, but they initially filed bankruptcy on December 2nd. But on December 12th, Jeff Cox filed for a certificate of formation to create a new business name. Sequest in Woodbridge is now going to be known as Woodbridge Aquarium and Wildlife Center, LLC. Jeff Cox worked closely with the previous owner and CEO, Vince Cavino, who stepped down prior to the bankruptcy filing. Ex-employees who were at meetings with both that they had attended confirmed that they share something in common: disregard for the animals and greed. Woodbridge is now not going to be just the town that allows the exploitation and death a place to reside in. They're going to be the name of the exploitation, neglect, and death. Stop Sequest Woodbridge is not going to go away. We will regroup and reorganize. Once the name changes, we will no longer protest Sequest, but we will protest Woodbridge Aquarium and Wildlife Center. A new name will not take away the animal neglect, safety concerns, or customer injuries. The only way to prevent any of these things from happening is to not allow a zoo/aquarium to take up residency in a mall. California has recently proposed a new animal protection law, the Captive Wild Animal Welfare Project, that prohibits direct contact between public and certain captive animals. We're going to be working on this as well for New Jersey, and Nicole will be here at the next meeting to elaborate further. Woodbridge residents have recently been showing their displeasure with the township in recent comments on social media. We have been keeping the public up to date on all proceedings. Clayton Rutherford of Captive Wildlife at Humane World for Animals, which was formerly known as the Humane Society, said that the public saw Sequest for what it was, and that was an animal-abusing shopping mall petting zoo. Woodbridge residents are now seeing it too. A Facebook page has already been registered for Woodbridge Aquarium and Wildlife Center. And right now, no one is checking on the animals inside there. New Jersey Fish and Wildlife has no reason to, since they revoked the permits and seized all of the exotic animals that they were responsible for. I'm sure there are going to be requests for new permits. The Woodbridge Health Department needs to step up their efforts, have surprise inspections, and they need to do this immediately. Now is the time to set limits on permits. You can't just sign all permits that come across your desk. Pete has stated that the new owner of the 3 Sequest locations refused to guarantee even the bare minimum care for the animals that were trapped and left behind in these horrible conditions. These animals have suffered for so many years at the hands of Sequest, and they will only continue to do the same at Woodbridge Aquarium and Wildlife Center, or anything else that takes its place. Animals do not belong in malls. New name, same abuse. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
Paul Lund, Hope Lawn. I just want to make a public service announcement that on Thursday at Vatra's Beauty Supply on 580 Amboy Avenue, one of the gubernatorial candidates for New Jersey is going to be there speaking, fielding questions, laying out his vision for the state, name of Jack Chittarelli. I think at least the 21,000 folks plus who voted for Donald J. Trump this last go-round in Woodbridge would certainly be interested in being there, and maybe even folks who are skeptical of the Democrat Party in the current state that it's in. I'm Paul Lund in Hope Lawn. I'm running for town council, and I also encourage you folks, take advantage. Find out what the Republicans have to offer this time around for governor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public?
Marge Petra, Woodbridge. Talking about a TNR ordinance for the township. We've been doing TNR for several years now. In 2024, we spent $12,852 of donations, having events, yard sales, etc., to raise funds for a TNR program in the town. That was just for PFA, where we do TNR. Additionally, we spent $16,406 on a regular full-service vet. If we needed, a TNR cat needed medical attention, they got it, whatever they wanted. What I cannot understand is why the township and the council will not initiate a TNR ordinance. It just makes no sense. You can't have the animal shelter taking care of TNR and all the other duties. There's too many towns that they care for now, and it's not fair to the residents and certainly not to the cats. So something has to be looked into and something has to be done. We did get a call. I got a call about a month ago about an injured cat, and the resident would not let us on the property. We need permission to go on property to trap a cat. So I did call the shelter, and the shelter director did call me back and said she would send somebody by, and the situation was taken care of. And she also offered to TNR 5 cats for us, which was extremely helpful. So that goes to show you, people can work together in this town. We're not the enemy. We're trying to help cats. And we need some sort of an ordinance. We need some sort of a program. There are plenty of people to help. We get nothing but stonewalled. Now, there are TNR programs in Spotswood, Edison, Sayreville, South Amboy, and East Brunswick, to name a few. Why can't we have one in Woodbridge? Why? Nobody's got an answer. We've taken in 48 kittens so far. We've taken kittens with the moms. The mom is feral. We keep her until the kittens are weaned. TNR her and put her back to the location. She has to feed her. If the moms are friendly, we adopt them out. We've been getting an awful lot of friendly cats in our TNR effort in Woodbridge. So I'd like to know why you can't institute a program for TNR. Why? An ordinance, why? Anybody have an answer?
Is that your question? You asked a question, then you started talking, so I want to make sure.
I said, why can't you institute a TNR ordinance in Woodbridge Township? That's the question.
Okay, the answer hasn't changed since the last time here. If a resident, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Sumuluka, if a resident has a cat in their property, they can call animal control. Animal control will go down wherever the property is, put the cage there, take it, TNR it, and then return it back to its surroundings.
Well, how many cats can they do a month?
I don't have that off the top of my head.
But it's ridiculous. You're just putting more of the burden on a shelter that is already bursting out.
1 minute, Ms. Petra.
Sorry?
1 minute.
Well, that's just my point.
I just answered your question.
That you won't do anything. You won't have an ordinance for TNR, correct?
That's not what I said. I explained the instructions, what happens when there's a cat on a property and somebody reaches out to, excuse me, I don't interrupt you, do not interrupt me. Mr. Sumuluka, unless I'm speaking anything different, that is correct.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you.
But why is it correct? Why can't an ordinance be made for a TNR program in Woodbridge Township? But that's not an answer.
I answered you the best of my ability.
If a resident calls a shelter, they'll send out somebody with a truck.
That's been,
absolutely no
it's
sense.
the way it's
And
been
you know it's
discussed. Thank you, have a good night.
Any other comments from the public this evening?
On the TNR issue, I've had friends that
Excuse
have...
me, can you please state your
I'm
name and
sorry.
the area of the township that you
My name's Doreen
live in?
Schultz. I live in Woodbridge Township. And about the TNR, I've had friends that had a bunch of feral cats in the backyard and asked and called up animal control for help. And they told them they had no traps to bring out to them. So, because they're so short-handed and they didn't have enough traps. I've called at times and I couldn't get a trap because they said they were all out. So it's not a cut and dry thing where they just come right out and go get the cats. They don't. We need TNR.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public?
Roberta Marini. I'd just like to thank Councilwoman McAuliffe and the Building Department for helping us close a 30-year-old permit that nobody had addressed previously.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public?
Okay, thank you. Which one?
Good evening, Arlene Rhodes, Fords.
Okay.
I just want to explain.
Excuse me, Arlene, I'm sorry. Can you stop the time 1 second? Sir, if you're recording, fine. I don't understand how you're recording and you keep looking at the floor every time there's non-sequence people talking. So if you're recording, I suggest you record. Otherwise, take your seat. If there's anybody else recording, that is your God-given right. You need to be in the blue box. Sorry about that, Arlene.
That's okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you. You're starting me now, right?
Yes.
TNR is a management technique in which homeless, free-roaming cats are humanly trapped, evaluated, sterilized by a licensed veterinarian. They are given vaccines and ear-tipped and returned to their original habitat. The primary benefit of TNR is to control cats' overpopulation. No more outside breeding recklessly. Their offspring suffer from a harsh element and a hard life to just try to survive. Many kittens are saved through TNR. Rescues step up to take them. The unfortunate kittens that are not rescued can give birth up to 4 times a year. causing a major overpopulation, and that's how it begins. Why the council and the township authorities ignore the fact that we have a feral cat problem is unbeknownst to me. If one small rescue can do over 275 cats a year, I would consider that a cat problem. The time and cost that goes into TNR rescue program is very high. We have attended meetings here never asking for any funds. All we wanted was cooperation to establish a dedicated TNR program for Woodbridge Township. Maybe it's time to look at yourselves and ask why every organization that has come into town to help leaves abruptly. I can mention a few programs: Whiskers Rescue, Karma Cats, and now us. This is not hearsay. Please reconsider your position on TNR. Let's make Woodbridge great again. The shelter does not come out and help. I have spoke to several of you and said, please call the shelter with an unlisted number and act like a resident and see if they come out and help you. Not one of you have ever tried to do that. They do not help. They do not have the traps, they do not have the money, and they do not have the people to go out and help them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any other comments from the public?
Yeah, Sean O'Neill, Metuchen. 2 meetings ago, you miraculously produced a veterinarian's report that said the animals in Sequest are, quote, sound. Coincidentally, it was done the day before, so we find the results of that veterinarian's report to be totally ludicrous.
Who's we?
Me, myself, and I, for one.
Okay, just making sure that's on.
Okay.
You, yourself, and I
Right.
are the we.
It just seems ridiculous. It just seems like the council and the mayor are playing games and politics while animals are in there suffering. The last meeting, you all sat up there, you didn't say one word, you were like muted puppets because CBS TV camera was here on you. So, you're playing politics, and all of you are not doing your jobs at all. You need to resign.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public this evening?
Gail Avenel. We are living in unprecedented times. And as a senior, I'm one of the seniors that depends solely on my Social Security for my survival. In 37 years, I have not ever been late on my property taxes. And what's going on the federal level is a cause for extreme concern and anxiety in regard to Social Security, because nobody ever voted for the procedures that are now in place. And we have no idea what's going on the Social Security management. My husband is a retired postal worker, and his pension is also being, managed by people that are not part of the postal organization that he was used to. My concern is this: they are cutting so many jobs on the Social Security Administration, and there is no doubt that it's going to affect the management and distribution of our Social Security payments. And my question is this: if there is a delay and a disruption of receiving our Social Security checks, will the township make allowances and give extensions for paying our property taxes? Because if this is all we're going to be living on, we're not responsible for the delays that the federal government is going to be imposing upon us. I mean, it's causing such anxiety. My husband's blood pressure went up to like 197. It's really a concern, and I would like to know what the township is going to do, because it takes a community. And I wanted, I'm so worried about what's going on. I figure, well, let's come to my own community, and what is the plan? If in the event that happens, I would like to know. Because what will the seniors do that don't have the money to pay their property taxes? Are we going to be, is it going to be like a tent city for seniors? It's really, really very, very tough time. and I would just like to know that there will be allowances made.
Council President? If you'll stick around after the meeting, recently I've actually been sharing a program with a lot of seniors that is being advertised through our county, and it is for tax reduction, property tax reduction and property tax relief for seniors. So if you'd like, I'll be happy to share that information with you after the meeting.
Well, I've already received the new booklets that combine, you know, the Anchor program and the New Jersey tax relief. I mean, that's something that, you know, I'm going to fill out, but I think that there's a real anxiety about what's going to happen. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilman.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
Tom Maris, Woodbridge, New Jersey. Obviously, there's a lot going on this evening, some very deep concerns, and as Marge well knows, I probably have close to a 20-year history with this council. Matter of fact, is what brought me to the council was the Seawarren Dog Park and the fight for better conditions for our animals at the park, and what was absolutely horrific slaughter of all the cats. At that time, they were being euthanized at something like 400 or 500 a month, and I used to get periodic, quarterly, if you will, statements from the state, which the township had to attest to. And where I'm going with that is TNR is something I got involved with at least 16 years ago, and it works. And I think it's something that the township can well afford. Mr. McCormick just told me, Mayor McCormick told me recently, we've got at least $2 or $3 million, I'm sorry, maybe $20 million that he's collected through pilot programs. Certainly some of that money can be channeled into setting up a really worthwhile program to do TNR. It saves the animals, it saves, they're just helpless creatures. And if you understand, I'm not sure if the council does understand how TNR works. Once you neuter that male and put it back out, or the female, they don't reproduce. So we're not getting any more cats, and we don't have to go and kill them. And I think that's where Marge is coming from. And I would agree with them. Give us a definitive plan. Put something together and say you can do that. As far as the lady who was just speaking, unfortunately, Mr. Coughlin, who's the head of the assembly, and he's, by the way, going to be running for re-election, we can take that to the state and say, what are you going to do for our seniors in the state, depending on what the federal government does? And again, these are plans that you could put in place and come back to the public and say, look, if that will betide us, fall upon us, and it's hurting us, we have a plan how we're going to help you. We'll get you through this. Again, I don't think that's an unreasonable request, and I would ask the council to definitely consider it, and at some point in time, in the very near future, not a year or 2 years from now, come forward with a plan and say, look, if it happens, here's what you can do. Not you got the new booklet, depend on the state to help you out. We all know how that goes, and we don't wait till that. So again, I just ask that you would consider how you can help with trap, neuter, and release, and just go on from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Maris.
Any other comments from the public this evening?
John Vertari, Woodbridge. These people over here, they don't have to do what they're doing. It's just not your problem, it's a Woodbridge problem. If you can help somebody to solve the water problem, floods and things like that, spend taxpayers' money, I'm sure you know what has to be done to solve their problems. It's a Woodbridge problem, it's not just my problem, your problem, it's everybody's problem. Let's correct it. You got money for everything else, you can do that too. And you can demand, if it just goes to the state or anybody, it's people, you, not us. You're empowered to demand, we need this, we need that, need that. You got money for everything else. Our last council meeting, asked the mayor a couple of things. My first question was, how long is it going to take before you open the Casby Park? Did you get EPA approvals? Because they keep saying last 2 years already. They're working on it, they're working on it. My question, are you going to open the park, and when or if you're going to open the park. My second question was, they talks about the Woodbridge Township is 103,000 people plus, a couple hundred. What's the population of Woodbridge Township present? I would like to know. And then the third was, I was saying that every place you go, you got metal detectors, especially today. Look in people's pocketbooks. Are we so non-trusty that people could blow you up, people over here? And schools don't have it. Schools don't have a metal detectors. That's the most vulnerable place to do something, some people to do something. You know what happened today too, right? I don't want to mention it, but you know it. Let's be serious about it. This is a dangerous time. They're not babies no more, those schools. Today are high school, tomorrow military. They know more about certain things that most of us do. So let's get serious. You big town, don't kiss the rain to big politicians on the top. Speak up, demand it. We are here, we need it, and we can do it. If you can do for certain individuals, there's certain things we can do for this town, because we're going down a hill and you know it. It's embarrassing even to say that you live in Woodbridge nowadays. Crime is up, everything's up, tax is up. What do we get in return? I don't want to say the word, but a lot of BS. Don't postpone it. You can do it, demand. Coughlin was there before, nice man, does do his job, ask those people. But you guys speak up, why are you afraid? You're elected by the people, not by them.
What's the question? You
My
you asked
question
three
is,
questions,
my question
and then you
is,
keep talking. Do you want your
my
questions
question is, Mr.
answered?
Smart, my question.
You asked three
what's the
questions, and you
population-
keep talking.
What's the population of Woodbridge Township?
103,655. What's the third question?
Where did you get the information?
Metal detectors in the
Wait,
school
wait, wait.
district, just like you were referring
Yeah.
to. You
Yeah.
asked three questions, I'm answering you.
No,
Don't interrupt me.
it's not
Go to
true.
the school district like you have done so
It's
many
not
times
true. It's
before.
2000
You know what you're supposed to do, Mr.
2020
Ricard. You can come
census.
here and you can ask school district questions. You know you're not going to get an answer because we're not the school district. We're the
Listen,
council.
listen.
Thursday night is the school district meeting. By all means, please ask that question like you've done before.
Don't talk to you.
What was
already.
your other question,
But
sir?
listen, there's 2020 census. I got papers right here.
Well, then why ask it? If you know the answer to the question, why
No,
ask
but
it?
that's 2020.
What was your other
This is
question?
4
You
years,
said
this is
three.
4 years,
I don't
this
remember
is
what
4
your
years
third
ago.
one What's
You know
the
how many
third
apartments you
question,
built
sir?
since then over here?
What's the question?
How many apartments you built so far since this 4 years?
Don't have that top of my
No,
head.
you don't know. I know you don't know much. You know that. But the question is, metal detectors. He said it's a school problem.
I did not say that. It's a school district issue. Go to the school district meeting and ask your question there regarding a school district matter.
Okay, school issue.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Who did they call today when there's a problem in school? Police department.
No, it's a school district
call
matter.
police department.
I read a
It's not
statement.
issue. It's
That is
our
all I am
issue.
prepared to answer.
It's a township issue.
Refer that question to the prosecutor's office or the school district.
Wait a second.
You can refer that question to the prosecutor's office or the school district.
Why should I? Why can't you?
I don't work or employ or represent the school district. I represent the, I'm sorry. Less than 1 minute, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Any other questions or comments from the public?
Hi,
How are you?
good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Anna Krasaska from Perth Amboy. I just wanted to talk about the TNR program. So I'm from Perth Amboy, and I like to help people. So my friend's parents, they live in Port Reading. They asked me for help because they had feral cats outside. I asked Marge and Arlene for help. They helped me with some. I think I've helped them with about 15 cats so far. So if there could be something done to get a TNR program, that would be really great. And that's all.
Okay, thank you very much for coming.
Are there any other questions or comments from the public?
Jose Schmidt, East Brunswick. I just have a question. Is when they calculate property taxes for Woodbridge, for businesses, do they base, I know there's the land boundaries calculate, which is always land, but for the actual building, do they calculate for businesses the building for that part of property tax, or do they use, I think the word is net operating income? Which do they use in the township for it?
So the value of the building and the value of the property.
Okay, so they do it that way. All right, thank you.
What? Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Hearing no other comments, can I get a motion that the public comment portion be closed? Oh.
Yeah, Brad Chrysler. I'm living in Fords now, back living in Fords. I'm just here on behalf of the TNR program, to advocate for it. Just moving back the past couple of years, I've been living back in town. I mean, I've seen numerous cats in my neighborhood. I've actually trapped a few. And I have 2 strays living in my house now that have been neutered, trapped and neutered. Yeah, I just, would like to see it possible that some funding be put towards this. I mean, I think it's great. It's much more humane for cats than trapping and having them euthanized. It's also, they get trapped, they get spayed, but they also get vaccinated against, disease that could spread. So there's some other points. There's so many. Actually, I had a whole presentation to read, but I think that's a moot point. I think everybody pretty much understands what the program is, that it can be effective in reducing the populations. And another good point is it cuts down on the predation of other wildlife, birds and things that the cats, naturally prey upon in the wild. I should have prepared better, but it was short notice. And, but I just, wanted to come and lend my support for people like Arlene and Marge, who do great volunteer work with this, but, maybe the township needs to step up and assist. That's my feeling on it. I mean, like I said, I've only been back in the town a couple of years, and I'm seeing a lot of, stray feral cats. And we have the yowling and all that, and it doesn't bother me, but I'm sure some people complain about such things and the fighting of the cats. And then, capturing, neutering them and spaying them it is effective. It will cut down on the population, which cuts down on all the other suffering and problems that come along with an exploding population. So that's pretty much all. I think it's a worthy thing to get accomplished.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
Nirvan Agrawal, Edison, New Jersey. We can all agree that the main audience for Sequest is children, because it's an aquarium and most aquariums are meant for children, and Sequest is one of those aquariums. And as a kid who has visited Sequest to see the conditions, I can tell that no kid would willingly want to be there, as it's dark and dingy and filthy and the floors are covered in muck. And you don't have to take my word for it, as if Sequest was booming with business, they wouldn't have been $381,000 in debt and filed for bankruptcy, meaning that the main audience, kids, are clearly not coming to the aquarium as often as they want them to come, and therefore they're going into debt and are using up a very precious space in the mall. And because of this, many other businesses cannot open up their business in a specific spot, and the business is just useless at this point. A lot of people have brought up the points about animals suffering, the points about the safety of humans, but the point that I'm bringing up is more about children, because that's the most important thing, because they're the main audience of Sequest, and without them, Sequest would have never opened in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Here are no other comments. Can I get a motion to close the public comment portion of the meeting?
Motion.
Second.
In favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll go into the agenda.
Thank you. Before I go on the agenda, I see in the audience, I want to thank all the scouts that are in attendance. I'm probably going to say it's a safe assumption that you're doing this for some type of assignment, badge, at all, because otherwise, feel free to come every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. But I wanted to recognize you. Thank you very much. The mayor is... The mayor's out of town, but we all know his, as well as the council and the administration's affiliation and fortune for the Scouts, so thank you very much. Moving to the public portion, item number 12, Cable Commission. One of the biggest concerns raised by our residents for the past 2 decades has been the lack of competition among cable companies for phone, computer, and internet services. Fortunately, 2 new options are in the works to bring this competition. Verizon has already begun a new project to invest in Woodbridge by building the infrastructure necessary to bring Fios to the township. Optimum has applied for permits to build 10 sites to house their fiber-only infrastructure for yet another option for our consumers. Both will be up and running in some sections of the town later this year with expectations of full wiring within 3 years. We're still in the application permitting stage of the projects with the PPU, Board of Public Utilities, but this is a very good, solid step moving in the right direction. I'm the council representative to the Cable Commission, as well as the rest of my fellow council mates in the administration. It doesn't go a week without somebody asking, what else can we do besides Verizon? So, I'm sorry, what else can we do besides Comcast? So hopefully this will move things into the right direction. The rest of my agenda is in order. God bless America. Council Vice President McCauley.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. I just have a few announcements today. Relay for Life has some upcoming events. Join the fight against cancer with Relay for Life. 2 exciting events are coming up. Gather your team, show your support, and have a great time for the great cause. On June 7th, from 3 to 10, they'll be having their annual walk at the Woodbridge High School. It's now time to get your team together and help support. Go to relay07095.org to get your team set up. They are also going to be having a cornhole tournament in conjunction with the Irish American Association on June 14th at the Acacia Center from 10 to 5. This is another way you can get a team together and have some fun playing cornhole. Get involved and make a difference and help to fight against cancer. The Chamber of Commerce is hosting a swing and sip event to help sharpen your golf skills. This is a fantastic opportunity to get ready for the Chamber's annual golf outing that will be happening in June. A lot of things are happening in June, which is going to be here before we know it. The Sing and Swip will be held on April 29th at the Colonia Country Club. It's a way to improve your long and short game while networking with fellow professionals. Contact the Chamber of Commerce for more details. The Woodbridge Fire Department will be having a photo shoot with the Easter Bunny on April the 13th from 10 to 12 at 418 School Street in front of the firehouse. This is a great event to bring out your children, have some fun, and get some pictures with the Easter Bunny. And then on April 12th, the Earth Day celebration will be happening again this year from 10 to 1 at the Acacia Center. This is a great way to come out, learn about a lot of things for the environment, and help make a difference in your community. Finally, there are a couple of new businesses that opened in the ShopRite Center in Woodbridge on St. George Avenue. Nothing but cakes. It's a great place to go and get some different cakes. They have a lot of things there for parties, and they have multiple size cakes to satisfy everybody's taste. And also the Korean barbecue place, Cake Pot, open. They're open from 11 o'clock in the afternoon until maybe 10 o'clock at night. It's a really fun place to go with your friends or your family and try some different kind of cuisine from the Korean cuisine. Thank you very much, Council President. That's all I have today.
Thank you, Council Vice President McCall. Get the red velvet muffin bun cake.
Oh, it's so good.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson.
Thank you very much, Council President. My agenda is in order. One announcement, would like to two announcements. One, I would like to congratulate Colonia High School boys basketball team upon a very successful season. They ended up in the top 20 in New Jersey. And I would like to congratulate Coach Jose Rodriguez on a fantastic year. I don't know if the Coach of the Year awards have gone out, but I've got to think he's got to be up there. Along the way, they beat the number 7 team in the nation this year, Lala Muir from Indiana. They also beat at the time, was the number 1 ranked team in New Jersey, St. Peter's Prep, in the first game of the year. So it's a fantastic year for Colonia High School, and just want to congratulate them on there. And I also, if you're looking at any college credits, please go on to Middlesex College website. They have an open house on April 27th to learn about the 90-plus credits and certificates that the campus offers. There's also some fantastic construction underway. They are building a new magnet school on that campus, so we'll have 2 high schools. Right now, we have 1 high school, which is one of the top-rated high schools in New Jersey, and actually, it's one of the top in the country also. And they're building another themed high school on that campus, along with a new student center and a baseball complex that will be the home site for Rutgers University. Lot to offer at Middlesex College. It's a great option for students that aren't going to go right away to 4-year college, and it's a great savings for your family. So I ask that you consider Middlesex College. I'm a product of Middlesex College myself. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. Councilman Ficarra.
Thank you, Council President. Just a few items over at the community center. It's not too early for summer registration for students while they're on their break. And speaking of break, the Easter break or spring break is coming up, and the community center has a lot of activities for the students to get involved in while they're on their break. And then one final thing is Generations Connected, a jewelry and beading program at the Hickory Senior Center. Unique is it's through our youth services and our senior services that they work together, and it's a good opportunity for both seniors and the youth to learn from each other and do something fun like that. There are a number of programs going on, NCAA Championships Watch at Acacia, Magic Show also at Acacia. This is through our youth services and our senior services. So there's something for everybody to do, especially during our holidays and breaks. So that's all I have, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Ficarra. Councilman Barrer.
Thank you, Vice President. I have agendas and orders, have a few announcements. Forest Business Community First Flea Market / Vendor Fair will be held this Sunday, March 23rd from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the public parking lot next to the Forest BMW on New Brunswick Avenue. And the Woodbridge Township Youth Services Highland Grove Lucky Charm Party Youth Night for middle school students only will be held on Friday, March 28th, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's at Highland Grove, 70 Highland Terrace and Fords. For more information, call 732-726-6290. Wear something lucky to, such as shirts, socks, or wear something simply green. That's all I have, Council Vice President.
Thank you, Councilman Barrer. Councilman Small.
Nothing this evening, Council Vice President.
Thank you, Councilman Small. Councilwoman Lizbeth DeJesus.
Thank you, Council Vice President. The Barron Arts Center is hosting a concert called Spook Handy and the Seat Planners. That's April 25th at 7:30. Reservation is essential. Again, it is April 25th at 7:30. You can call 732-634-0413 to make your reservation. They are still accepting applications for the 44th Annual Senior Citizens Art Exhibition. The exhibit is open only to residents of Woodbridge Township 60 and over. All entries are to be received no later than March 27th. They're also accepting applications for an exhibit called Destinations. Visual artists explore the act of travel and the places we roam. This is in conjunction with the New Jersey Art and Music Express. The entry deadline is March 28th. Again, for more information, call 732-634-0413 or just the Barron Arts Center. Item number 10, the Free Public Library of Woodbridge. Again, they will host a community resource fair on Friday, March 28th from noon to 3 p.m. Visit to learn more about Township, county, and state assistance for family counseling, healthcare, job searching, literacy, senior services and transportation, and of course, library services. ESL conversation groups and literacy classes will be held at all Woodbridge libraries, and they are open for registration. You gotta call Literacy New Jersey at 732-906-5456. And the library programs will include Know the Bear Facts, Living with Bears in New Jersey on Thursday, April 3rd at 7 p.m. You can visit the library online to register for any programs and to see what events they are hosting. Last meeting I did not attend, but we did raise the flag for Women's History Month, and it is a month where we recognize all the women in our lives and all of the trailblazers and all of the glass cities that were broken and how far we've come. Today, I've had the honor to host a Young Women's Empowerment Summit here in Woodbridge Township with Woodbridge Township students. And I just want to thank not just Bagels, Noches de Colombia for sponsoring the breakfast and the lunch. I want to thank Carolyn Elrick, Megan Cushbeck, Kelly Walsh. It was a dream that has been in the making for 10 years since I got on council. If you know me, you know that I am very pro-girl, pro-women. So I want to thank Jen Stokel and Joanne from Youth Services, Eileen Caggiano from Recreation, Nicole, Megan, and Kelly from Administration, Jennifer De Jesus from Berkeley College, and Angie from Northfield Bank, and of course, Dr. Massimino, Mr. Pastorino, Nicole Finsera for making the selection of the girls easier, and all the SAC counselors that attended, and more importantly than that, the young ladies that attended the program. I hope and I pray that at least each of them connected to one of the panelists and got something that will help them in their future. And I am so thankful to everyone that helped put this together. Again, celebrate the women in your life. Thank them for everything that they do, and happy Women's History Month. Thank you. That is all that I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman De Jesus. Mr. Mitch.
Thank you, Mr. President. Under liquor licenses, just a couple items. I'm going to note letter C, thank you for the approval on the corporate structure change. That'll be removed from the agenda. Councilwoman, Council Vice President mentioned about K-Pot. I'm hoping at the next meeting to have the approval before you for the liquor license for that establishment, just waiting for tax clearance from the state. You should have received notification from my office today with regards to a new liquor license transfer coming in from the former Fridays located in Island. Also, just under liquor license comments, I wanted to thank Mr. Simaluka and our new police director because we worked over the last month. We put before you 3 ordinances tonight, which will expand the responsibilities of the licensing coordinator for the police department, which will beef up our enforcement on these matters. So hopefully you'll adopt that and consider that at our next meeting and continue to move forward. Otherwise, we're getting ramped up for renewals on all the liquor licenses in town and fill you in as we go along. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mitch. Business Administrator Simaluka.
Thank you, Council President. Actually, I have nothing this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Police Director.
Thank you, Council President. I have a handicapped parking space removal on Camelot Drive, and I have a handicapped parking space addition on Marina View Drive. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you, Director Jeske. Director Darby.
Thank you, Council President. Just standard bi-weekly refund request resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Darby. Director Brewer.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. I have nothing this evening.
Thank you, Director Brewer. Director Colaginsky.
Nothing for tonight, Council President.
Thank you. Look for a motion.
Motion?
Second.
Meeting adjourned. Have a good night. Thank you.